This conference will now be recorded.
Now, last class, we've been talking about wire. We have seen that the server-side controllers can be called in two-way, using a wire, using imperatively. Whenever you're using, whenever you're using an import, along with the import, you're saying get record, update record, delete record, right? Then without using a wire function, right, those are called as imperatively. Whenever you're using a wire, wire, right, then we call them as connecting or wiring a method, right? Wiring a method. Whenever we wire a method, there are two ways to wire it. Wire a function, wire a property, right? Last class, I was showing you wiring a property and wiring a function. Whenever the output result is given to a variable, right, we call them as wiring a property. Whenever the output result is given to a variable along with a function, you write a Java function. This function, we call them as wire a function, right? This completes the whole allocation of the data is done using a function. We call them as wire a function, right? Now, to go more, today we will talk about events. We will start events. Did anybody get how to wire to create a record, to call a method to pass a parameter? Anybody got succeeded or no? Anybody? I asked
No,
you to
sir.
create. No? Did anybody tried? Anybody tried to create an account using a wire service? Did anybody give a try or no?
Yes, sir. I tried, but I'm getting the same error. It's not saving itself.
So it's not saving it. You tried using a wire, passing just the name. Okay, we will check it out then. But however, the remaining piece of wire is working, right? Except the create account, whatever I have shown you in the class, those are all
Yes,
working
sir.
fine. Everyone? Okay, we
Yes,
will
sir.
look on it. Let me look on that. Why we are not able to create with a wire? We'll see. Today we will start a new topic called as events. All of you know in this class what is an event. What is an event? Any information, right, passed by a browser. Any information passed by a browser or a system is called event, right? Is called event. You have seen in the lightning classes that events, right? Events are of two types. There, component event, application event. Component event, application event, right? But here in LWC, there is no concept called component event, LWC event. Application event. Let us see, the event is completely different in LWC. So put a heading called as event, right? What is an event, right? Any notification or a message passed by a browser or a component or an application regarding an action is called event. Write down. Any notification by a browser or a component or an application regarding an action is called event. Is called event. Is called event. Right? Is called event. Now, don't write, listen now. By default in LWC, every event is a component event. By default in LWC, every event that you'll be writing is a component event. Is a component event. Every event is a component event. Right? Now, LWC uses DOM event. There is no special events available like where you get in Lightning, you create an aura event. There is an aura event available. You go to file, you click on Lightning, you click on Lightning event. Here, we don't create a separate event. We use the standard HTML event available called as DOM events. Every HTML page, HTML has a standard event, right? We will use those standard event, right? In single word, Lightning Web Component dispatches or uses is built on DOM events. Events of LWC is built on DOM, not on Aura. But whereas in Lightning, it is built on Aura. Rupam, right? Rupam at the rate lt96.com, password CRM1234 hash, right? CRM1234 hash. Let me open. Settings, developer console. Right, I'm making full screen, it's loading. What happened? Close it. Developer console. It says only loading. Last and final time. Developer console. Okay, but we didn't got. Okay, I didn't got the name of it. Full screen. It's creating a problem. Copy the link. I'm closing it, opening another tab. Right, I'm opening the developer console in a separate tab. There you go. So many. Let me close all this. Okay, file, new. You have a separate Lightning event. TST, test event, test event. These events are Aura events. See that? Aura event. Whereas LWC, these are Aura event. You can see Aura events. Right? Type is application. Right? Aura event. Event in Lightning is an Aura event. Event in Lightning is an Aura event. Whereas in LWC, we use DOM events. Events which are available, default available in Java or in HTML language. We call them as, so LWC uses a DOM event, right? Remember this. You can create, right, a event and dispatch event. Here the word is called create event, dispatch event, right? Create, dispatch, listen. There what we call it, create a event, handle event, handler. We use Aura handler, registerer, register event, handle event, right? Here we don't use the word called handle. We use the word called as listener, listen event. I'm giving you the equivalent words. right? Here we use listener to listen event. We create event. We create what event? DOM event. In LWC, we dispatch or we create or we build DOM events, right? We don't build Aura events, right? Every event is called by name. In Lightning, there's a nickname concept. Nickname. You declare an event, you give a name to the event. But here, it is all the events are called by its original event, right? All the events are called by its original event. Who passes the event? JavaScript. JavaScript propose or propagates the event. In single word, once again, I'm repeating the same statement, right? In LWC events are DOM events. Events are DOM events. They are built on DOM. They are composed on DOM. They are dispatched on DOM. Whatever you say, word. This is a DOM event. What is a DOM event? The events documentations. These are the events which are available default in HTML. In any web page, whatever the default events are there, those are used in Lightning Web Component. Lightning Web Component, right? So next, right? Every DOM event has a pattern to be followed. What is that? You have to create event, you have to configure it for initialization, and then you have to emit the event. Emit. Emit means propagation. Emit means propagation. You have to emit the event. Now, what is the step followed? So first, create and dispatch event, listen event, handle event, configure the propagation, right? And communicate between the components. These are the event steps. In LWC, first step, create event, compulsory. Second step, dispatch event, compulsory. Third step, listen and handle event. We say, we don't use the word called handle, we use the word called listen. Listen the event. Third step, listen the event. Fourth step, configure event propagation. Configure event propagation. Total, there are 4 steps. Those who are taking note, write down the notes. Number 1, first point, Lightning Web Component event is built on DOM events. LWC event are built on DOM events. Next line, LWC dispatch standard DOM events. LWC dispatch standard DOM events. DOM. HTML events, in other words. HTML events. Right? Next, event flow in LWC. Next heading, event flow in LWC. Next heading, event flow in LWC. Number 1, create event, dispatch event. First step, create and dispatch event. Step 1, create and dispatch event. Create and dispatch event. Create and dispatch event. Number 2, listen and handle the event. Listen and handle the event. Number 3, actually create and dispatch are 2 steps, but as we do in a single go, that's the reason I've given you in a single step. Create and dispatch event. Actually, it's create event, dispatch event, listen event, configure event. But because we do create and dispatch in a single step, that's the reason I'm giving you in this way. Create and dispatch event, first step. Second step, listen event. Listen the event. Listen the event. Listen and handle the event, whatever you say. But we use the word called listen event. Third step. Third step, configure event propagation. Configure event propagation. First, right, third step, configure event propagation. Done. Now let's understand. First step, create and dispatch event. What is a create and dispatch event? Right? These are all done in a single step, one line command. To create an event, we use custom event constructor. First step. Now, first step, put a heading called create and dispatch event. Write down the points. Inside that, there are 3 steps I gave you. Now, the first step, create and dispatch event. Create and dispatch event. Right? Write down. To create, right? First point. To create an event, right? In LWC, we use custom event constructor. There is a constructor available called as custom event. To create an event, we use, right, custom event constructor. Custom event constructor to create an event. We use custom event constructor. Right? Next, right? Custom event constructor has one parameter. It requires one parameter. It requires one parameter. It will take only one parameter. Right? As not it doesn't mean that it is only one parameter. It requires one parameter. That means one parameter is compulsory. And that is a string parameter which is called name of the event. Write down. Custom event constructor requires one parameter, bracket string name. String name. Now, in this parameter, don't use uppercase. No spaces, no, right? No special characters. In this parameter, you cannot use any uppercase. As I told you in LWC, right? Always create things in lowercase. Never create any name or any component with uppercase. You have seen the problem. Whenever there's uppercase, system puts an underscore by itself, right? So custom event has one parameter. Compulsory one parameter has to be used, and that's a string parameter. In the string parameter, you cannot use uppercase. That parameter shouldn't contain any uppercase, shouldn't contain any space. It can contain only underscores. It cannot contain any special characters. It can contain only, right? What is the syntax? This dot dispatch event in a single command. This dot dispatch event. Right? In a single, I'm giving you a single command. We can divide this into 2, right? Once I create, you will start seeing it. What exactly I mean. Right? Okay. Now let's understand the event. Let's create an event in Lightning in LWC. So I go to my right Visual Studio Code, Control Shift P. Let me connect first to my organization, authorize an org. It's a production org. I press enter. Let me connect my Visual Code to my organization. System is running, so we have to wait. Okay, Rupam at the rate LT at the rate LT96.com. Password CRM1234 hash. Okay, it's running successfully. Now, what I'm going to do, right? Let's understand. To take this, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a LWC component where I would be using a button. I will be using, let's say that, right? I'll be using, I'll be creating an event called as, right? Increase, decrease. Let's say there's a volume, volume increase, volume decrease, right? I'll create an event. Whenever somebody click on that volume increase or decrease, right? I'll create a two button, right? Let's say two buttons will create to increase the volume, to decrease the volume. Increase, decrease button. This button plus and minus. I can use it for increasing volume. I can use this button for increasing the contrast, decreasing the contrast. I can use the same volume for increasing the brightness, decreasing the brightness. One button. I mean, when I say one button, that means it consists of one set of button. Increase, decrease. I can use it for multiple usage, right? Same button, I can use it for what? For, as I told you, whenever you want to increase the volume, then you keep on pressing the increase button and the volume will increase. I want to increase the brightness. I'll call the same button again, increasing the brightness. I want to decrease the contrast, right? I can use the same button. That's exactly, let's assume that we have a video player. Video player. We will create a button and we will dispatch an event. Whenever the button is clicked, the event is called and it will increase the volume. It will increase the volume. Let's assume that's exactly what the exercise we'll be doing today. Using an event. So let me go ahead and do Control Shift P, create a Lightning Web component. What is the name? I will say LWC underscore 1307 underscore EG1, right? I go ahead and create EG1 underscore, right? I will say what? I will say events. I will say event, right? I'm creating one Lightning Web component. Remember that naming, you should be careful. No caps. That's the reason I'm not using any caps anywhere. Suddenly I shifted from caps to lower camel. If you have started observing it, right? It's better that you start giving a single name without underscore, without a numbers and everything. Right? In real time, don't use underscore also, right? Use all in a single word, right? In a single name. right? So that is what is recommended. Now let's go ahead. Fine. Okay, so there we go. So we created. Now I go to the HTML. Let me create two buttons here. So I will say what, right? Directly I will say LIGHTNING lightning, right? CRD card, right? Title, title. I will say, do you want to give a title? I will say increase decrease button. Button, right? I'm giving a title. Now inside this, I will create a lightning layout. Inside the layout, I'll create layout items. LIGHTNING lightning layout item. First layout item, right? What is this? Inside this, I'll create a button. Lightning button. Lightning button. Label equals to label equals to, I will say next or increase. Increase. That's a label. On click. On click. Call what? On click called, right? Call increase. Call increase. Right? I'll give the button. Don't worry, we'll do it together. Right? Now I copy this. Control C. I'll place one more. I will say decrease. I'll say call decrease. Call increase, call decrease. Let's quickly look for an icon, right? Lightning design system, right? I go to icons. I select plus or minus icon, right? It will be under the, I'm scrolling down, volume plus, volume increase. Okay. So plus, do you see any plus sign? There should be some plus. Okay, add, Control C. I will say, what is that? It was utility. Utility, add. Perfect. Next, under the utility, I will say decrease. Decrease is minus. Do you see any minus icon? Oh, we have this, no? Right, left. Okay. Okay, plus, fine. Do you see any minus? I don't see a minus, but I can take this as a rect window. There is no dash anywhere. You can say plus, you can take, what do you call it? Arrow left, arrow right. You can take it, right? It's just an icon. So any icon you can pick it up. So that's not a big deal. So I will say icon name is utility erect, right? Done. So what we did, we created a layout, right? In that, I have placed a button called increase, another button called decrease, right? Whenever we click on the button, it will calling call increase. Whenever I click on the button called decrease, it will call decrease. Control S is done. Now I go to my events. Let me go to the events, right? I go to the events, right? In the event, now let us go ahead and create an event and then dispatch event, right? Okay, there we go. Let's see, right? Right. Now let's go ahead and create event. Whenever somebody calls this increase, right? I want, right? Whenever somebody clicks on increase, right? I want an event to be created. I want an event to be dispatched. Similarly, whenever somebody clicks on the decrease button, right? Whenever I click on increase button, I should be able to, right, create event and dispatch event. How to create event, right? So how to create event? For creating an event, declare a constant. I'm showing you two ways. Number one, constant. Constant what? Constant inc, right? I'm giving a name called as inc, increase, equals to, right, new. We have to call the constructor. What was the constructor? Constructor name was custom event. This is the constructor name. So I have to say new custom event, new custom event. That's the constructor. The event, right, should, this custom event should have parameter. One parameter is compulsory, I told you. One parameter is compulsory. What is that parameter? The parameter is a string parameter. So I'm giving a parameter inside it. I'm giving a parameter inside it. What is this? I will give the parameter as what? It is a string parameter, which is name. I will say incre, increase. I'm giving you different names so that you can understand. Button name is increase, whereas the event name is increase, right? This is called creating event. Step one, right? Step one, creating events. This is how you create event in Lightning. In LWC, in Lightning Web Component, we create an event using a constructor called as custom event. Your event is created. Your event is created. What is your event name? Your event name is not INC. Your event name is incre. Remember this. INC is a variable. It's a fixed variable called as constant, right? Next. Now, second step. I have to dispatch the event, emit the event. I have to dispatch the event. How can you dispatch the event? This dot, this dot. To dispatch an event, what is the second step? To dispatch event. How do you dispatch event? Right? We dispatch an event, right, using a dispatch keyword. Dispatch event, right? constructor. Again, another constructor. What is that? Dispatch event constructor. So I will say, let me go ahead and copy it from there. Dispatch event. This dot dispatch event, right? What is that? INC. In the INC, the event is there. Step 2. This dot dispatch event. Step 2. Dispatching event. Second step, right? Dispatching event. Same thing, I will do it here also. Control C. Create DEC. What is the event name? DECRE, decree. Dispatch what? Dispatch DEC. Right? This both steps can be combined together. Now in the second one, you can do like this, or you can also do like this. How? Let me show you. You can say this dot dispatch event. I'm taking this step actually. Control C. This dot different. Where is the event? In the bracket, you can give new. You can copy this. Complete. This dot dispatch event, new custom event. What is the name of the event? This is the name of the event. See, rather than creating event, dispatching event, you can combine them in a single step. You can combine them in a single step, right? Single step to create and dispatch event. You can choose whichever way you want. You can create an event separately, then dispatch it, or create and dispatch. You're creating the event in the bracket and you're dispatching the event. My work is done. Control S. There we are creating an aura event. Then we are registering event, right? Here there is no registration. Creation is so simple. Just declare an fixed variable called constant with a custom event constructor. Use it. Custom event is a constructor. It's a class, right? It's a class. Whereas dispatch event is actually not a constructor, it's a method. It's a class. This is a method. With a custom event constructor, we create event in LWC with custom event constructor. This is the keyword. I've created the event. Perfectly fine. Now this event is created. I will go to the LWC meta. I'll say visible equals to true. Here also I'll say control save. Done. I've created the event. I've dispatched the event. Now who will be listening to the event is the question. Now let us use this button in another component. Another component will listen, right? The same component can listen the event, right? Listen means handle now. Same component can handle, parent can handle, right? Grandparent can handle bubbling from bottom to up. Here, this is the child component. I will create the parent component. I'm creating one more LWC. Control Shift P. Create a lightning web component. What is that? LWC underscore 1307 underscore, right? EG2 underscore EVENT. Example event P, parent, event parent. I'm creating a component. Right? Right? the button doesn't say it's a volume increase, volume decrease. I have created an event where I have only something called as increase decrease button, and you have a two button called increase and decrease. Now I want to call this button in another control called as volume. Same button I can call where? In contrast, brightness, channel up, channel down. To increase the channel, decrease the channel. I can call them in multiple places. One event, I can call them in multiple. Now, this is the event that I created example one. In example two, what I will do, let me go ahead. In example two, I'm in example two. I will create a lightning card. Lightning card, right? I will say title. Title equals to volume increase, volume, right? Title equals to volume, right? Here, icon name, here also same thing. Let me copy this icon name, Control C, right? Icon name. What is icon name? Let us look for a volume or a speaker icon anywhere. There should be a speaker icon. Here it is announcement, but no, I'm still scrolling down. Do you see any speaker icon anywhere? Right play was there, would have taken it that. Car mail. Oh, there it is. I will take this. Volume high, Control C. All types of icons are available. Utility, volume high. Perfect. Inside this, I want to call those buttons. Inside this, I want to call those buttons. Right? So, C dash. What was the button that we created? LWC. What is that we created? LWC. Right? I scroll up. 1307, 1307. Here it is. You can see that. LWC, example 1, event 1. Example 1, event 1. Right? This is the button. Now, whenever somebody clicks the button, the number should increase. We have not written any JavaScript that when this button is increase, but in the system or on the screen, I should say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. When somebody clicks on decrease, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, it should decrease. Now, this is, I'm calling the child component. How do I handle the event? Next step, write down. First step, create and dispatch event. Second step, listen or handle event. Second step, listen or handle event. Write down. Step 2, listen and handle event. Right? Write down. Listening or handling the event. Step 2. Right? There are two ways in LWC. LWC has two types of listener. Number one, there are two types of listener in LWC. Declaratively, programmatically. There are two types of listener. Declaratively listener, right? And programmatically listeners. There are two types of listeners available. Declarative listener and programmatically listener. Two types of listeners are available. Declaratively and programmatically. Two types of listeners are available. First, declaratively. Today's class, we will see declaratively only. Other class, we will see programmatically. Right? We will see declaratively. Tomorrow's class also we'll see declaratively, then we will see programmatically. So declaratively. Now, What is declaratively? Right? Here, we have to declare a listener with the help of a keyword called as on. Declare a listener. Write down declaratively. First one, subheading declaratively. Number one, declare a listener in, right, in the template on the parent component. We have to declare a listener. Use on keyword. On is a keyword now. Remember that. On. On is a keyword in LWC. On. On. On is a keyword. You have to put it prefix. Using on keyword as prefix to declare and dispatch event. Whenever you want to listen event, we use on. Whenever you're using on word, it is declaratively. Whenever you're using on keyword, it's declaratively. Let's understand declaratively, right? So I go here, right? What are the events I have? What are the events I have? There are two events. There are two events. What are the events? If I go to my JavaScript, there are two events. Incree, decree. There are two events. Incree, decree. In front of incree, if you put on, it's a listener. I'm going to the HTML, right? I press spacebar. I will say on, on keyword. On. On what? On incree. My event name is what? Incree. Whenever I say on incree equals to what? I will say increase volume. On. I'm adding a word called as on. Space. Right? Whenever somebody clicks on decrease button, how can I listen that event? How do I know that somebody has pressed that decrease button? Right? This is the event. Decrease the event. I come to the parent. I'm an example 2. I'll put a on keyword. On decree. Shit, what is that? On decree. Here it is. Control C. On decree. Whenever you're using this on keyword, right? What happened? Why I'm not able to copy? Control C. On decree equals to on decree. On decree what? Decrease volume. So whenever somebody clicks on that button, system will capture the event. It will immediately call this function. Immediately call this function. Where this function is? This function is in the parent. I'm an example 2. There are two functions again it's calling. Right? I'm in the parent. I'm going to the .js. Here it is. I'm writing the JavaScript. Right? Increase. Always put an event here. Event. My suggestion is that always put event. There also you can put an event. Similarly, whenever somebody clicks on that button, right? System will call decrease volume. Decrease volume. Decrease volume. Right? Let me create a variable called as vol. Volume equals to 1. I just want to fix it to 1. You cannot go beyond 1. Volume equals to 1. I declared. Whenever somebody clicks on this, what should happen? Right? Whenever somebody clicks on, right, increase, what should I do? Increase. I should directly go ahead and I say this dot volume is equals to what? This dot volume plus 1. This dot volume plus 1. Perfectly fine. Here, decrease, somebody is decreasing it. Suppose I'm already in 1. I don't want it to go to 0, -1, -2. Then I will say if what? If this dot volume is greater than 1, because minimum is 1, I said, greater than 1, then only decrease it, because 1 minus 1 is 0. I don't want the system to show a volume called 0. Fine, last volume is 1. In my case, let's take, if you want to put 0, you can put there. So you can put the counter as 0, then will 0 plus 1. So if you put 0, volume will be 0. Okay, let's say 0. 0 plus 1, right? If the volume is greater than 0, then only minus. What is that? I'll copy this. Control C. I will say -1. -1. That means if it's 0, 0 minus 1 will be -1. No. Less than 0, don't even go to subtraction. If it's 20, is it greater than 0? Yes. Then -1. 19. 19 is greater than 0. Yes. -1. 18. 18 is greater than 0. Yes. -1. 17. Like this. 1 greater than 0. Yes. -1. 0. 0 is greater than 0. No. System will not go further in minus. See, Control S. Control S. Control S. How to listen an event? Using declaratively. What is a declaratively? Whenever you put on in front of a event, right? What is my event? Event is increase. Increase where? Increase here. Increase, decree. In front of the increase, if I put on, it is listening. On increase, on decree. In front of the name, if you put the on keyword, it automatically means listening, right? Now you see that I am clicking on the child, but the parent is listening. Whenever I'm calling the child component, in the child component, the button increase and decrease is there. Whenever I click on the increase button, an event is fired called increase. That event is listened by the parent. Once the parent is listening the event, once the parent is listening, how to listen? By using a on keyword. Once the parent listen the event, what do you want to do? I want to call an action. What action? Increase. And that's what we are saying. Increase the volume. When we go to the increase the volume, we are increasing the volume. Where the increase and decrease the volume is happening, it's happening in the parent. Button is in the child, but increase decrease action is in the parent. Child button is clicked, parent is listening and reacting. Button in the child is clicked, but the parent will react. Right? That's exactly what we learned in event. The same thing I'm doing here. But here, I'm not doing it the aura event. I'm creating an event with what? Custom event constructor. Then I'm dispatching the event with a dispatch event method. I'm listening the event in the parent using what? Using on keyword. On increase, on decree. In front, in before the name. So never use on as a keyword. Never you say on off. Don't use any variable with on Never use any variable, constant, or any element with on, because on is its system keyword. Right? System will try to listen event. System will try to listen event. Control S everywhere. Now let's deploy this both. Right? I go to the child first. This is the child. Control C, Control Shift P. I will say deploy this to the source org. If you have not made any mistake, this should be working fine. Right? I'm deploying the child component, the place where I have created the button. On the button, I have attached an event. I have created an event. I'm dispatching event. I'm creating event. I'm dispatching event. Right, done. Now I'm going to the 2. I say Control Shift P. Oh, this has to be visible. I open the metadata. I say true. Control S. Control S. I save it. Now I say Control Shift P. Deploy this to the source arc. I'm deploying this also. Perfectly done. I right click on the parent. I say rename the parent. I copy the parent. Right. I go to my developer console. Sorry. Here it is. Resume. I close this event. Yes. File. Open Lightning Resources. My dummy app. LWC dummy app. I click on application. I remove this name and I put my name here. Right. Control S. I click on preview. Oh, we did made a mistake. Did we display the button anywhere? Did we display the volume anywhere? We didn't display the volume. See, the button is coming. 1, 2, 3, 4. We didn't display it anywhere. Go to the here and in this, I will say volume, 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 anything. And here I'll display the volume. We forgot to display. What is that? VOL. Initially it will show 0. I'm displaying the volume. I'm displaying the volume. I will put a paragraph tab after that. I'll put a paragraph tag so that the button pushes to the next line. Control S. Or we can put it inside this. Control X. Volume. Everyone good? Because we didn't display our volume anywhere. So Control S. Control Shift P. Deploy to the source org. Whenever you click this button, child, volume is in the parent. Parent will react. You click a button on the child, parent will react. It's deploying it. Let's do done. I come here, we refresh. I should say volume equals to 0. Volume is 0. I click on increase. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Volume is increasing. I decrease. See, volume is decreasing. Where this button is in the child. Where this button is in the child. Who is listening? The parent is listening. See, how can I set increase and decrease controls I can make? Using event. Now let me explain you everything with the help of a paint, with the help of a diagram. This whole piece is a child. This is a child. Whichever I've highlighted now, this is a child. This is what? Child. Child LWC component. It's a child LWC. Lightning Web Component, child LWC. Right? This whole is the parent. This is the parent. Parent. So the child is inside the parent. What is this? This is a parent LWC. Parent LWC. Whenever you call the child, it's calling a function. It's calling a function. Functions I'm placing in the boxes. Function I'm placing in the boxes. All the functions I'll put in red color. So there are 2 functions. Whenever this button is clicked, system is calling the function. Whenever the decrease volume is clicked, it's calling this function. Inside this box, we have created events. We created the event, we dispatched the event. We have dispatched the event. Same here also. Same here also. Created event, we dispatch the event. How to create an event? How to create an event? Using a keyword called as, using a constructor called as. This is how we create an event. For both, it's the same step. This is how we create an event. How to dispatch an event? I'll say this is bold. This is how you create an event. Perfect. How did you dispatch an event? Right? This is how we dispatch an event. You can club them in one step also, as I showed you. This is called dispatch event. So you create, you dispatch event. Now, how to listen the event? Whenever you're calling this component in the child, we listen the event. In the parent, we listen the event with what? Right? We listen the event with what? We listen the event using an on keyword. Right? So we listen the event in what? With the on keyword. Right? With the on keyword. O and on. O and on. With the on keyword. Right? Remember this with the on keyword. Oh, with the on keyword. Perfectly fine. Followed by the event name. What is the event name? Event name is incree. Followed by the event name. INCRE. Incree. Followed by the event name. Event name is incree. This is how we listen. That means if somebody clicks this button, the event automatically it fires an event. It creates event, it fires event. Increase. Whenever you click on decrease, it creates event, it fires event. Fire is nothing but dispatch. It creates event, it dispatch event. Create event, dispatch event. Create event, dispatch event. Every time you click the button, any one of the button, right? It is increase is creating incree, decrease is creating an event called decree, decrease every time the event is dispatched. This dispatching after the event is dispatched, we listen using what? This is how to listen. Listen. Listen is done with on keyword. Once this is listened, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? I want to call a function, right? Increase will call a increase function, decrease will call a decrease function. Here there is a right vol volume plus 1, here volume minus 1. When on incree, on decree, we have two events. On incree, right, again when on keyword. The other event was right on keyword. Decree. Decree. What is the event name? Event name was on incree, on decree. Whenever event captures, system calls the function, it decreases the volume. Whenever the event occurs, system calls the function, increases the volume. So what is happening? From the child, these, how I am understanding this event gets passed to the parent. From the child, the event gets passed to the parent. Right? From the child, the event gets passed to the parent. This is what is happening. Event bubbling from down to up. Same thing. Who can handle? An event is occurred and dispatched where? It is in the child. Who can handle? Child can handle, blue can handle, green can handle. Same thing. But here, so that to fire event, we say dispatch event. To create event, custom event. To handle event, we say on. On is the keyword. Whenever the event occurs, what action you want to perform? I want to increase the volume. Whenever the event occurs, what action you want to perform? Decrease the volume, -1. This is what I just did in the classroom today. Able to understand, guys, how to create a event, how to dispatch event, how to listen event. In Lightning Web Component, how to create event. We create event using event constructor. How to dispatch event? By using a dispatch event method. How to listen event? By using a keyword called as on. On. Yes. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Everybody. Everybody. Yes or no? How to create an event, how to dispatch event, how to listen event in LWC. Complete different concept, complete different from your Lightning or LWC is completely different. See, so increase, decrease, 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 0. Below 0, it will not go. Even if I click, it will not go. Why? Because I said only decrease only when it's greater than 0. Increase will work. See, I'm increasing the volume. The same component I can use for what? The same child component I can use for one more. Contrast, the way I have volume, contrast, brightness, channel up and down. I will write one component and I'll be using it in multiple places. Right? I can just write 2 buttons that is in one component, and then I can call this component in wherever I need. For example, I created volume. I can create one more LWC component and I can use this plus and minus button there. Guys, able to understand? Yes or no? Anybody has any questions? How to create event? How to dispatch event? To create event, we use custom event constructor. To dispatch event, we use a method called as dispatch event. To listen event, declaratively, we use on keyword. Tomorrow also we will see declaratively. 2 classes on declarative. Tomorrow's class will be declarative with parameter. On the event, I want to pass a parameter. We have created a blank event now. Event blank, null event. Inside the event, I want to hold an attributes. Event with attributes. Event with attributes. Tomorrow's class we will see declarative event with attributes. And then we will see programmatic event with attributes. This week will be completely on event. Right? How to work on LWC events. Important interview questions and they'll be asked. It's easy, guys. It's just that you have to follow certain things. Clear now? Any questions? That's it for today. Any questions?
Can we do it in the opposite way from parent to child, passing the value?
That is the 4th concept called as propagation.
Okay.
Propagation. That's the 4th. In your listing, it's the 3rd concept now. Because I gave create and dispatch event together. Create and dispatch event, listen event, and the 3rd one is propagation or propagate event. That's where we will discuss how to propagate an event. Can I do from down? Events are, right? Events are actually in Salesforce, as I told you, by default, it's component event. That means lower to bottom. From lower to up, bottom to top, it's bubbling. With the 3rd step, whatever I gave you called as propagation, we can control that. Yes. Your answer is yes, we can.
That means bubble phase and capture phase.
Inheritance phase. Bubbling,
Oh.
Currently, it's bubbling. Can I have inheritance? Yes. Can I have left and right? Yes. Currently, no left and right. Only parent we have seen. Right? Cross component. Right? We will see this. There are many limitations in LWC event. LWC event is not full-fledged. These are all in beta. And I'll show you beta. Right? Propagations. We will see in the after declaratively is over. Right? Declarative we finish. We will go to programmatically. Then we will see event propagations. Clear? Any questions, guys? Anybody has any questions before we drop? What happened? Everyone is silent. Guys, able to understand, or I'm teaching something Greek, French, Latin, or something like that? No response. What happened? Guys, able to understand or no? I know that you need a practice because it's completely different than what you have learned in Lightning. So, any questions, guys? No? Thank you then. Let's meet tomorrow. Have a nice and wonderful day, guys. Bye-bye. Take care.